Hi there! If you don't know me, my name is Maya, and I transferred to Pleasant Hill during my freshman year in 2017. I was only here for 3 years, but they were some of the best years of my life. We don't have a graduation really, and even if we had, I didn't make the cut to speak, but I wrote up something to try and put into words how thankful that I am that I got to come here from my high school education. Special thanks to Mr. Fisher for finding me a spot, and please enjoy my graduation speech. The butterfly effect. If you've never heard of it, it's part of chaos theory and states a small change can make much bigger changes happen. One small incident can have a big impact on the future. Basically, the idea that everything is a result from a singular moment of change. The butterfly effect, to me, is one of the most incredible things out there. Every decision, no matter how small, changes our lives. A great example of the butterfly effect is when I read The Hunger Games. There was no way for me to know by reading those books that I would end up shooting archery and eventually shooting guns, which is what brought me to this school in the first place. Those books led me to develop amazing friendships and convinced me to transfer to Pleasant Hill so I could be with the people that made me happy. Had none of that happened, I would have never had the opportunity to meet Miss Vanceville, who expanded my love for science more than I thought was possible. I wouldn't have learned that history can be fun by Mr. Meinzen and incredibly interesting by Mr. Neal. If you would have asked me in 6th grade if I thought I would even consider a minor in math, I would have laughed. But because of Mr. Thornton and Mr. Gray, who believed in me every single step of the way, I am. Because they believed in me, I can believe in myself. Before I came to Pleasant Hill, I was broken. But in a series of very fortunate events, I was led here. To a community like none I have ever experienced in my life, like no school I've ever been to, and I've been to plenty. In fact, people have asked me before why I transferred, and to be honest, I came for my friends, but I stayed because the community here is unmatched. Even though my district school had more AP classes and on paper looks like an awesome school, I wasn't happy. I didn't belong there. And I learned that by prioritizing what really matters, happiness, success is infinitely more attainable. My peers at Pleasant Hill taught me what a real friend looks like, what support feels like, and what being truly happy means. I've had some of my best days here, as well as some of my worst, but the friends I met here always made me feel the most welcome and most loved of all. Every single day I got to spend with my friends, whether that be at dances, in class, on field trips, doing Mr. Billy, or being in various clubs was a blessing. Before, I didn't think friendships as deep and as beautiful as the ones I have now were even possible, but my peers at Pleasant Hill never disappointed. I never felt anything but support when I was trying to challenge myself academically. And even though I'm sure I was a pain in the butt at times, Mr. Fisher and Mr. Rees never tried to hold me back or got annoyed, at least not to my face. The teachers here challenged me like I'd wished my entire life, and the admin here are the most understanding, kind, and supportive of all. None of us would be here without Ms. Rees and Ms. Clarissa's guidance, right? Or Ms. D's good morning at 8:06 a.m. when you're walking in late to first period. Admin and teachers that care, actually care, are rare, and I think it's safe to say that every student at Pleasant Hill is lucky. I've never been more blessed than the day that I picked up the Hunger Games for the first time, because it was on that day that my life was so beautifully changed that I was able to come here and not only get an amazing education in academics, but also an education in myself. Because of that day, I met my most cherished friends, so loved that I transferred to a school where I knew no one except them. When I transferred and called Mr. Fisher to beg for a spot, I didn't know that I was finally finding my place. But because of the teachers, the students, the admin, and the parents that make up this school, my life and so many others have been changed for the better. If it wasn't for that day, I wouldn't be graduating from the school that I love, with the people that I adore, heading to my #1 school. The confidence in myself, who I am, and who I want to be, wouldn't be nearly as strong without the support I received from my peers and mentors here. I would do it over again in a heartbeat. The love I have for this school is unmeasurable, but I hope this gave you an idea of how absolutely thankful that I am that I got to be a Billy, even if our time was cut short. This school is a little slice of heaven, and I'm beyond grateful that I had the opportunity to get my education here. And I guess I have Katniss to thank for that. Well, Katniss and the butterfly effect. Dear Pleasant Hill, thank you for the happiest years of my life. It's heartbreaking that we didn't get to end the year like we had hoped, and I'm incredibly sad that our time here is over. But they say this year will be unforgettable, and I'm glad, because I would never want to forget.